Dan Gilmore, and I'm working as a professor of practice at Arizona State, co-founder of the News Collab. History has shown again and again that technology has profound impact on what people do in their work. Sometimes it eliminates whole categories of what we call work and creates the conditions for new categories. Robotics has eliminated huge numbers of manufacturing jobs and will continue to do that. And robotics and AI are part of the same system of technology, really. I don't know what is going to happen with the next few generations of it. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
I'm Bennett Sylvan. I'm a rising senior at ASU at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. Currently major in sports journalism with a minor in business, sports management, and marketing. For now, I don't think it's a huge worry, but I think it will be in the future. I'm not worried as much for myself, especially now being in college and I kind of get to learn all the technology as I'm going.
ChatGPT and again, tools like it are part of a separate trend in society in general, which is the collection of power and money in the hands of a very few people, and who now exert enormous power over everyone else. The imbalance in wealth that already exists in the United States and other so-called capitalist countries has never been greater than it is today, and getting worse. When I use the word worse, I don't think it's good that wealth is being accumulated at the very, very top by a very, very few people. I think that's dangerous. I think that's going to help kill democracy or what's left of it. And I think that's a tremendously dangerous trend. And ChatGPT and other companies like this are going exactly in that direction. So I see these tools as part of a trend to, again, accumulate power and wealth in the hands of a very, very few people at the expense of almost everyone else. So in that context, I don't know what to say to somebody young in a world like the one we're in, where monopolies are being created in every field we can see. Is the best advice to find something where you're one of the people who's able to make money from the monopolist?
I think one big one for me is time management and just getting along with people, because at the end of the day, kind of you want work to feel fun, you want work to kind of be a family, and at least that's a work environment that I want to be in, especially in the journalism world, adjusting to kind of the AI chats and that stuff, because while those can write stories and they can, you can say, write me a story about XYZ and it'll spit it out, it won't be perfect. Yeah, this type of technology, I'm sure it'll get even more advanced than it is now. Kind of everything's computerized, and I'm sure, who knows, 10, 20 years, it'll be even more advanced than we could ever think of.
Corporate leaders see it mostly as a way to eliminate employment. If something is good enough, it wins over things that are better for the bulk of the marketplace. And that there might be a high-end product, and then there's the good enough level. And if ChatGPT and other tools are good enough at writing things that sound right, that normally they would pay a writer, then they're going to stop paying writers and use that because it's good enough. Once you've paid for the machine, you don't have to pay it. Machines don't take sick days. There were teachers who were really freaking out about students using calculators. That's legitimate in one sense. If the student doesn't know how to add and doesn't know what the process of arithmetic and basic math, if people are completely ignorant of that, I don't think that's a good thing. I think one should understand basic math. But to say don't use a calculator, that's silly. And more things are like that. I mean, I grew up at a time when people knew how to fix cars, car engines. And now cars are systems of computers on wheels. Everything is now specialized, for good and for bad. I think the biggest thing for all of us is to not fall into the trap of getting too excited about the latest shiny object by people who want to sell us something, whether it's products or ideology or faith of some kind. No one but except a super genius can be an expert at more than a couple of things. The Renaissance person who knew lots of things about lots of things. That's hard to be anymore. I think technology is going to help us solve some of the problems we're creating. And I think technology has done enormously wonderful things for us. I think we should be appropriately amazed at what we can do, including to organize ourselves against the worst parts of technology. This is not a technological question. This is a policy question. We don't have to say, yeah, sure, Microsoft and a few other companies can own the contents of all our work for the last 50 years and use it to charge us high prices to have them read it back to us. We don't have to accept a few billionaires deciding who's allowed to be speaking in the public space. These are political decisions. They have been made by default, but they've been made, and we can unmake those. I hope we do.
When I was a kid, like I didn't have an iPhone either until I was in middle school. Like teachers, when we were growing up, were saying you're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket, and now we do. I'm sure it's, too fast for everyone. I know, especially with COVID, having a lot of the elderly people kind of lost their savings and are now having to go back into the workforce, which for them sure is crazy because they're dealing with technology that they've never seen before. And even for myself, there's still stuff I'm trying to understand and kind of get used to using. And yeah, well, my boss now is not very technologically advanced, so I've had to help her a lot in terms of that. It's just kind of interesting. There's just, I think nowadays, just a huge technological gap versus the kids that are kind of entering the workforce versus the adults that are already in it. And some of them seem very set on their ways.
I can't keep track of technology, and I spend my life trying.